All right, friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. This is a live stream and it is Friday, January 10th, 2025. We are closing out a horrendous week for those who have been attacked. Basically, that's how I'm calling it, in Los Angeles and basically throughout Southern California. I've been doing coverage on this. I urge you to go to my playlist. I have a playlist under fire. I've done dozens of videos analyzing the Maui fires. I've broken down many fires in California, in Canada, in areas around the world, looking at the physics of fire, how what we are seeing is defying natural fire behavior. I have been taking the hits from people that are, it's pretty funny. They're like, Peggy, you should get help. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I need to get help to I have some good answers and comebacks to people like you that actually think this is normal. I'm going to share with you a couple of images today. Some of you are asking me to share some. These are not going to be too horrific. And if you're new to my channel, welcome on board. I've had a lot of new viewers here. Take a moment and please subscribe. YouTube has frozen my subscriber count for about the last 4 years. So let's see if we can outwit the nitwits, shall we? What I'm going to do on this video is share with you some images of incinerated cars, yet the shrubbery is untouched. And I'm going to take you in just a moment to an Instagram page where people drove through these neighborhoods and took some footage. And you'll see exactly what I saw, including, well, let me ask you, what color do you think the unmelted trash cans are? I forgot to mention that the trash cans are unmelted. Listen, I've done a few videos already, and I can't cover every single thing in every single video. So this video is going to focus on your comments, your emails, your responses. And I'm so grateful for all of you that have eyes to see through the deception. You are able to read between the lies. I think the most important video I've done thus far is the false narratives. Don't fall for it. And I'm not talking about fake news. I'm talking about things that they're telling us that happened, like no water in the fire hydrants, like the mayor being out of town, like the governor being incompetent, like the fire department in LA having its budget gutted, like the fire chief focusing on DEI instead of hiring competent people. All of those things may be true. My opinion is that they are massive smoke screens in order to take you away from the actual reality, which is is an intentionally inflicted terror and decimation of the population for reasons that I'm sure you know. The bad guys, the evil doers, want to control the population. They want to shrink the population. They want to follow their agendas. What are we in now? 2030, 2040 from the United Nations. And I've done videos previously when I did all of my dozens of videos on Lahaina about the human settlements that Newscomb and Joshi Green New Deal have all signed on to. So this is clearing the path literally to wipe the slate clean, to put up their rabbit hutches and their transportation corridors and their 15-minute smart cities, not just for the Olympics, friends. Yes, for the demonic Olympics, but for their greater evil plans. So I don't want you to be distracted. And I'm seeing it already. And I thank you for sending me your emails, but I'm not going to fixate on the fact that the mayor was out of town. She probably will resign, and Newsom will take some hits, and they're going to increase the restrictions, and everybody will be satisfied that the mayor resigned, just like they did in Hawaii, all the while ignoring the actual facts of what is going on. I'll get into that in just a moment. Hang with me for a moment. Let me know in a comment below what you are seeing, if you are able to read between the lies, and you're not going to be bamboozled by the deception, and you are going to be able to discern truth from the falsehoods. All right, here we go. I want to start out by giving you a caveat, all right? And then we're going to look at this Instagram clip, and you're going to see the incinerated cars and the shrubbery untouched, along with the unmelted blue trash cans. So before we dive in, I want to give a word of warning. In fact, I typed this out so I can read it clearly. I implore you, please do not overwhelm yourself with the onslaught of disturbing images and relentless news reports on another yet intentional disaster of unfathomable magnitude. The images, the videos, and the narratives that are dished up by the mainstream media merry-go-round are intentionally designed to deepen the trauma. You see, there's a kind of national trauma bonding going on, meaning people are going to be so worn down that they are willing to accept whatever it is the government says. And they're going to say, I promise you, they're going to say, we never want this to happen again. Therefore, we're going to get rid of all natural gas. We're going to get rid of your gas water heaters. You will all have to drive electric cars, notwithstanding the fact that electric cars can catch on fire, which might be exactly how these homes exploded. One of my Healthy Americans said, perhaps these cars are talking to the smart meters, and those are what are causing the ignitions inside the homes. Many of you had videos of these homes being lit on fire from within, because as you know, homes are supposed to be built to withstand fire. That's why we live in them, to protect ourselves from these dangers. So think about it. These images and this entire terrorist operation is designed to inflict further trauma, to wear you down so that you will agree with whatever it is they want to usher in next. So they're harming you mentally, psychologically. Of course, those that have been harmed physically, they've lost their homes, in some cases, their loved ones, their livelihoods, their possessions, their sentimental items. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And I am so beyond grateful that I have been personally untouched, other than I have friends and family members, and I actually had a cousin that lost her house. But when I look at the blessings God has given me, it's like amazing. And I want to stand strong and not be pulled underwater by the evildoers that want to wear us down. So we are unable to be there and support those who need us at this time. So I highly recommend that you are on guard from those who are seeking to steal your energy, your focus, your resources, your reserves, who want to burden your mind, your heart, your soul, to the extent that you are so deeply disturbed and distracted from your own needs, your own life, your own requirements of daily living, that you feel overwhelmed. I believe that it is important to be informed. That's what I strive to do on this channel, but not to the point where you are obsessed to the extent that you are neglecting other areas of your life. Now, I am reporting on yet another act of fire warfare, as I call it, in my beloved state of California. My intention is never to fan the flames of fear, of dread, of trauma, of despair. It's the exact opposite. I want to share information to educate and empower you, so that you know that what you're seeing, when it doesn't add up, you can come to this channel and go, okay, Peggy and the other Healthy Americans are affirming and confirming and validating that what I'm seeing is not natural and normal, and I am not going crazy. That, another word for that would be those who are gaslighting you or pulling the wool over your eyes. I do not want you to fall prey to being duped, hoodwinked, and bamboozled by the evil doers. We are in the truther community because, well, we seek the truth, but we have to be careful that we are not going to overburden ourselves to the extent that we cannot function. Otherwise, the bad guys win. So I want you to know that you are correct in what you are seeing. All of these things that don't add up, you are not crazy. So let's do this now. I want to share with you the little clip from, I'm just going to cue this up here for you. And this is from the an Instagram page. Let me see if I can find that here. I'm going to click through, and then let me share my screen. And I'm going to pause for 1 second. I will also have a link for you in my Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. Let me know if you saw my video about the false narratives. It's the #1 most important thing to watch, in my opinion. Please share that far and wide. All right. ABC News. This was 2 days ago. The fire in the Pacific Palisades is unbelievable. ABC, Tony is writing. So many homes lost, so many businesses, churches, and schools. I pray for those who are affected. It is unlike anything many of us have seen. There's the clue right there, friends. Of course, it's unlike anything, unless you were in the Paradise Fire, unless you were in the fires in Canada, in Oregon, Lake Tahoe. These have been played out again and again and again. Now you'll see my comment right here. I said, yes, of course. Melted cars. I meant incinerated cars, but I think you get the gist. I wrote melted cars, yet shrubbery untouched. Makes perfect sense. Now, I didn't even read the replies, but yeah, I'm looking at some of these right now. I still think that people are going to blame it on the ineptitude of the fire department and Newscomb and the mayor and climate change in the winds. And that's exactly what they want you to believe. They don't want you to see the truth. So here we go. Let's look at this quick slideshow. Look at the shrubbery, completely untouched. The tree, yes, it's been singed. This is not burned. And there are the blue trash cans, unmelted. So how in the non-spinning world can this house be obliterated? It looks like it was bombed in a war, and apparently it was bombed in a war on the people in Pacific Palisades, yet the trash can is sitting there unmelted, unsinged, with fire hot enough to incinerate a car. The only thing left standing here is this brick fireplace, some bricks outside. It's absolutely stunning. It has not, people have not gone in and cleared this away, to my knowledge. There are the incinerated cars, more of these plastic trash cans, more of the shrubbery untouched. How did the fire jump the shrubbery and start a concrete structure on fire? There's more. How are these palm fronds not burnt to a crisp? Yet the house is decimated. It defies logic, friends. And I'm not going to be breaking down all of those anomalies for you. I've done so in previous videos. What I wanted to share with you are your comments and just a little bit of this, since you were asking for some of the images. It is not, yeah, here we are. Many of us have never seen anything like this. This is from ABC News. It looked like a war zone, apocalyptic. Friends, let me know. Do you think he is telegraphing something? Do you think ABC Tony is letting you know that he knows what we know? Because this is not normal. Absolutely stunning. And by stunning, I mean horrific, heinous, unfathomable, unspeakable, beyond what, yeah, and of course they need to show us Bank of America, beyond what most of us can really take in. Friends, I do have additional videos on my channel about dealing with trauma. I've got one called Observe, Don't Absorb. I've got a whole list on grief and trauma, in other words, how to deal with it. So if you are suffering, please take a look at that. If you need help, get the help that you need, because this is, again, another type of operation, just like they had with Cooties and just like they had in Asheville, like they've done with so many other unnatural events that they are telling us are natural. I want to read to you a video. I want to read to you a response to my video. And this came from A Healthy American. And I've got several of them, several great responses here. I hope you know that your analysis has aided my sanity since 2020. I'm so grateful for your wisdom. I hate to think about the despair others feel who are caught up in it. And friends, that to me is like suffering on top of the devastation. Elena says, thanks, Peggy. This assault on us by our own government, the military in particular, must be recognized and punished, sowing chaos so they can kill and destroy more innocents and steal what little they have. I've been following all the fires too. Newsom couldn't control his smirk or his duper's delight when he walked into the press conference. Yes, the press concert, as I call it. Thank you, Peggy, again, for your truthful updates and your interpretation of this devastation. Okay, this one's really great also. Dan writes, so glad to see you, Peggy. I received so much abuse on Facebook telling people these are dues. Yes, Pacific Palisades is beautiful. Green lawns, land, sprinklers, outdoor protective walls. Friends, people do something. It's called hardening the landscape. It's a thing in California where you harden your home against the fires. You are already prepared for this. Dan writes, no natural fire would occur there. I lived on the west side, meaning LA, west side of LA for 34 years. And I used to drive through Pacific Palisades to get to my meditation temple. Like in Hawaii, the evil wants this land right on the coast to do their evil. How can people remain so willingly ignorant about the fires? I'm blown over at the level of stupidity of so many nice people. No thinking happens at all. Let me read one more, and then I want to come back to this. And Sanctuary says, this just sickens me. They, whomever they are, want people out of California. I lost everything in Northern California 2018 Camp Fire. Same results, everything gone like Lahaina, melted steel, glass, plastics left untouched. A regular fire does not do that. I want to make a couple of comments here, friends. For those of you that are unwilling to face the reality of what is going on, my heart and prayers are with you. I actually have a great deal of compassion because you probably have a compassionate heart. It's probably difficult for you to fathom the depth of evil, how people could be so willing to serve evil. That's why I call them the serpents, the public serpents. And it's difficult for you to believe that our government or whoever it is could be in on it. And there are questions, who exactly is it? Well, I don't know exactly who it is, but it's evil. It's all those who serve evil. It's those who have always been running things, those with the money, those with the power, those with the control. You could call them the Bilderbergs or the Rockefellers or the Freemasons or the New World Disorder, as I do. But is it really important who it is? I don't think it's that important. What is important is that it is happening, and we see that it defies logic. You've got eyewitness accounts here from people who live in those areas. All right. It's not just me talking on a video, even though I have decades of experience living in Southern California. These are people that are there now. And this Healthy American said she lived through the Camp Fire. Now, this also troubles me that they named that fire the Camp Fire. That is another twisting of a phrase that normally would bring feelings of family vacation, sitting around the campfire, roasting some marshmallows, having a beautiful evening. And they've taken that and they've laid it over with this trauma so that now you're associating it with something horrible. And they'll do that again and again. So I also wholeheartedly reject that kind of naming of the fires. So we had it in the Paradise Fire, right? Paradise associated with the worst horrors and traumas that you could imagine. This has been going on again and again. So that was the comment that I wanted to make about Dan, who said, I'm blown over by the level of stupidity of so many nice people. Because there are nice people, there are kind people who now want to donate money to the Red Cross. Oh, excuse me, the Red Cross. I've done videos about their corruption, about how they don't use your money in ways that you think that they do. It's easy enough for you to do an internet search on Form 990 for the Red Cross. You'll see exactly the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that they already have, how much money goes to their top executives. And that might make you think twice about donating. Now, listen, I, for myself, pray over what actions I can take. This is why I'm doing the videos, to help educate and inform you so that you're not going to feel like you're going crazy, that I will validate for you that what you're seeing does not add up to a natural event. And when it comes to donating money, I pray that you will find, if you're interested in doing that, places where that makes sense for you. I understand how helpless one can feel in the midst of observing these disasters. We want to do something. And the sad fact is sometimes how do I put this in a way that's delicate? Sometimes it's not even enough. The tragic reality is that these people are experiencing a unique individual burden and trauma. And my prayer is that they will get the support, the resources that they need, and that there will be people around them who can offer comfort, and that they're not going to be relying solely on the government, because that's another unfortunate fallout of what happens from these intentional disasters, that the government expands, people become more reliant on the government, getting their handouts and so forth. And it is a tragic aftermath of that. I really don't know where these people are going when you look at how widespread this damage is. I don't even know if there are enough places for people to stay. If I put myself in their position, it's like, where would I go? So my heart truly goes out to them. And I have seen that the celebrities are coming out and doing these fundraisers. And I know that not everyone who lost their home is a millionaire, a billionaire in the entertainment industry. As a matter of fact, I was going to share this with you in another video, but I'll just go ahead and do it right now. Some of the entertainment celebrities, their houses are still standing. Yes. Tom Hanks' house is still standing. Steven Spielberg's house is still standing. Tom Brady's house is still standing. So for all y'all who are applauding this, saying that this is the wrath of God destroying these evil entertainment people, well, their homes didn't get destroyed. So Jamie Lee Curtis's home is still standing. So his home is still standing. So yeah, the question is not literally, for me, who is behind it? Actually, I don't really have an answer for that other than the evildoers. But what I want to encourage you to do is to not get caught up in all of the side stories of being told there's no water in the hydrants. And the truth of the matter for me is that water doesn't put out these electrical microwave fires, and it would be evident if we saw. Now, there may be some people that saved their homes. Somebody said, Peggy, what about the people there with water, watering down their houses? Well, maybe they didn't have a smart meter. Maybe their smart meter didn't go poof, and so the water helped. And around their house, it was not an electrical fire. So these stories about the mayor and about not clearing the brush and about not having the fire department well funded, while they all may be true and they all are important, in my view, they are smoke screens to distract you from the truth, which is this is intentional, this is destruction, decimation, devastation designed to wear you down. The question becomes, what can we do? Well, I had that in my Substack, and I hope that everybody's reading my Substack. And that is over at peggyhall.substack.com. So the one that I sent out today, which was about the false narratives about the LA fires, and I had a little summary at the very bottom, which is, I said, well, it's kind of what I said a few minutes ago about protecting yourself from observing too much of this. So prepare yourselves for your own potential evacuation, no matter where you live. Do not live in fear, but in faith and freedom. Guard yourself from obsessing over the news, and don't expose yourself to the ongoing horrific images that are meant to further traumatize you and weaken your resolve. Cherish each day as a precious divine gift of life and make the most of each day. Really, to me, that's the only way we can truly fight back and live in freedom. So Deborah said, thank you, Peggy. Finally, someone who sees and reports the truth. Patty wrote and said, I live in Huntington Beach, which is in Orange County. We had a calm between the winds for 24 hours. I'm a native. I have never seen winds like this before. I know Santa Ana winds like the back of my hand, she writes. I drove my mother-in-law last Monday to Prescott, Arizona. The sky was full of plain stick clouds all the way in California. This is an absolutely planned agenda wake up. They want 15-minute cities everywhere. Kevin says, we are being attacked by design. Peggy is spot on. And Jamil says, Peggy, you have been a breath of fresh air. To know that I and others like us are not alone in our thinking. I thank God for allowing me to see what I can see that many others still cannot. I feel the same way. And finally, Sakura says, many thanks, Peggy, for laying out the truth. Unlike some other channels that are actually entertaining the idea of arsonists, I really appreciate you. Oh yeah, that arsonist. I made a couple of notes on that because it's absolutely ridiculous. I have to do a separate video on the arsonist. This one's running a little long. In fact, I've got a non-fire related video for you coming up. And this is going to be about what we can do in the spraying in the airs. And you know, and I know that a lot of this weather manipulation is really behind what we are seeing here. It could be that there were flammable elements that were released in the skies during the previous days. It could be that these winds were created artificially. These are all potential possibilities that are actually reasonable in my mind. So really, to get to the root of it and how we really can fight back is to take back control of our airways. It is through the FAA. I want to share with you a really insightful Substack from a healthy American. I've spoken about him on the show before, Franklin Okanu. He has a Substack called Unorthodoxy. And I'm going to read that with you, share that with you and read it to you in the very next video. So give me a few minutes to cue that up. I will take a look at your comments, everybody, in a little bit. And I'm so grateful to have you on board here as healthy Americans. Be sure to get on that Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. If you like this content, please like the video. And many of you say you try to like it and the thumbs up never shows. I know, that's YouTube fiddling around. And please resubscribe. I want to try to break this stronghold and the throttling that YouTube is doing on my channel. All right, friends.